Hello, old school comic book reviews. No, I'm sorry, new school comic book reviews. Back in the ring to take another swing. Got some comics this week. Haven't read them all. Some of the stuff I got that I haven't gotten to yet is I've got Batwoman issue 5. Haven't gotten a chance to read that yet. Avengers 1959 number 4 out of 5. Haven't read that yet, and I saw issue 5 is out on the racks too, but I didn't get that. And I thought I'd try from DC Comics My Greatest Adventures. So I picked up number 3. I don't know anything about this comic. I hadn't been following it, but it has 3 separate stories in it. One has Robot Man in it. One has a character called Garbage Man, and the third one is a character called Tanga. So let's just jump into the comics that I did get, that I did read, I should say. So let's start with Archie, issue 628. This is part 2 of Archie Meets Kiss. Alright, I really wanted to like this comic book. I was really excited about the kind of Archie Kiss crossover, and I did get the previous issue, and I thought the previous issue was a pretty decent setup. Basically, Archie and the gang and, Sabrina the Teenage Witch are kind of hanging out, and Sabrina's trying to cast a spell of protection over Riverdale, but Veronica and Reggie somehow mess it up, and this somehow causes these wacky zany monsters to come into our dimension, and then they're on the loose and they're going to cause some sort of trouble. But right after that, the guys from Kiss come out of the same portal, and they decide they're going to help Archie and the gang, stop the zany monster people. And it pretty much ended where it looked like people from Riverdale were slowly turning into zombies. Okay, this issue picks up, and I don't know, it really let me down. The script is by Alex Segura, pencils are Dan Parent, and the inks are Rich Koslowski. And I don't know, I just think it's poor storytelling. I mean, things just sort of happen without any sort of build-up. Other things aren't really explained. They just kind of sort of happen willy-nilly. So I'm going to say spoilers here, because I kind of have to give a lot of the story away to explain why I was disappointed. So basically, this issue opens. Sabrina is in a cage. She has been captured by the monster guys, and I don't know, at their hideout that looks like it's some sort of abandoned warehouse or factory or something like that. Archie and Jughead and the rest of the gang decide, well, they need to do something about the monster people. Kiss is sort of kind of wandering around, meandering, and they were like, well, we have to come up with a plan to do something. Next thing happens is they, first they're at Pops, then they go to the treehouse, then for some reason they decide to go to the high school, and they go to the high school gym. The monster people are there for like absolutely no reason. They just happen to be there, and there's a big fight and everything, and comedy hijinks ensue. And then Sabrina gets loose because Salem the cat knows how to do magic, I guess. And then at the end, it looks like I don't know what's happened to the Kiss people. I guess they're still fighting the monsters or something. But the rest of the gang are outside, and zombies are walking around, and the zombies have somehow turned Archie into a zombie, to be continued. My problem is, like I said, there's no build-up, there's no story, there's no anything. And whether you're doing something that's action-packed or suspenseful, or if you're just doing comedy, you gotta have some sort of, setup, build-up, then payoff, you know what I mean? And, and stuff has to happen for a reason. Like I said, people appear for no reason, they disappear for no reason, and it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense plot-wise. And I know what some people are going to say. They're going to be like, well, it's Archie, what do you expect? Well, come on, just because it's something that's kid friendly or family friendly doesn't mean it can't be well written. And the thing is, there's lots of well written family friendly material. And hey, I wasn't expecting The Watchmen or I don't know, Identity Crisis or anything like that, but I was expecting a fun teenage romp, and I don't know, I don't think it was as good as it could have been. But okay. Anyway, I'm still probably going to get I'm not probably. I know I'm going to get the next issue just because Kiss is in it. So that's that. All right, moving along. Secret Avengers number 21. Story by Warren Ellis and art by Stuart Immonen. I enjoyed this a lot. I really enjoyed the art here by Stuart Immonen. And Warren Ellis did a pretty decent job as far as having another one and done espionage plot going on. Basically, the story is Steve Rogers as Commander Rogers and the team have figured out that there is a Shadow Council double agent working at the Office of National Emergency. So they go into the building using this kind of subterfuge and whatnot, and interrogate, figure out who it is. They interrogate the person, and they find out that the Shadow Council has been running these weird experiments for decades, and the creatures who were the result of these experiments are actually in the basement of this building. And of course, now they're about to get loose, and the team has to, deal with the consequences. Like I said, fun, tight, action-packed. Warren Ellis throws in a kind of few flaky ideas out there, but it worked for what it is, and that's basically it. Really gorgeous art here, and just a tight little story. It ends on kind of a I don't want to say a shocking note, but it's kind of a little gut-punching in a way, but very suspenseful, and it's a nice little ride. I guess this is Warren Ellis's last issue, and next issue Rick Remender is going to be taking over, so it'll be pretty interesting to see where the title goes from there. Alright, next comic is Six Guns by story by Andy Diggle and art by David Gianfelice. I apologize if I've said that wrong. A lot of fun. Basically just a crime drama action movie type story. Basically has everything to do with bounty hunters and bikers and FBI agents and car chases and explosions and airplane crashes and people flying over cliffs and gunfights and everything, and it's a really fun romp. Basically, we get a few stories, at this point. Tex, who was the FBI agent, has teamed up with Black Rider, who was one of the bikers who's been double-crossed by guys working for the Roxxon Corporation. Tarantula has been captured by Matt Slade, but it looks like they're about to team up, and we get a little bit of a few answers and a few explanations about what's been going on all this time, about who's got what type of agenda going on, and why certain people were killed, and what's going on in this small town in Mexico. So it's, like I said, it's a really fun action-packed sort of thing. When I started the first chapter, I thought it was going to be more of a maybe kind of grounded, maybe Tarantino, action suspense type crime thing, but at this point we're completely into the whole sort of like Jerry Bruckheimer, Michael Bay, Joel Silver, big action stuff, So on that note, what really what really carries the story, I think, in this comic is the art by I'm just going to call him David. It's, first of all, it's really detailed, but it's also very stylized. But it's very eye-catching and appealing. And the thing is, really paced really well. I mean, as far as his storytelling, and as far as bringing you into the action and just the flow of the action, it's really great. It's a very visceral comic. It's a very kinetic comic. You know what I mean? You feel like you're part of the action. And that's something that I think some artists, and I'm even talking about artists that I like a lot, don't even don't don't always pull off right. There are people who can draw really cool splash pages, really detailed backgrounds, or whatever they do. But as far as the drawing a cool fist fight or gunfight or chase scene, sometimes other people's layouts and things are kind of awkward, and you kind of have to like look at it twice to know what's going on. But here, that's not an issue at all. It's just very fun. And you're kind of on the edge of your seats, and that's quite an accomplishment, I think, in these days. So that's good. 6 guns. Next we have Supergirl number 5. Let's see here, with Michael Green and Mike Johnson, and the art is by Ahmad Ashar. I'm probably messing up his name, and I apologize again. And let's see here. And the colorist is Dave McCaig. Basically, the story's picking up. We're going along with Supergirl as she tries to find out what's happened to her, what's happened to her planet, what's happened to her family, and things like that. It's called Return to Argo City. So we basically find Kara as she finds the ruins of her home, and we get a few answers here. There are a few other questions that are thrown in there, and we also get an interesting antagonist called Rain, and it's a lot of fun. I think the art's picked up again somewhat. I think basically Mahmoud's pencils have tightened up again, so that's good. I think I'm still having a little bit of problem with the coloring. I don't know, man. It just seems kind of faded or just kind of light wash thing, and I don't know. It's not working for me as much as I want it to work for me. I just think it should be bigger and bolder and brighter or whatever. But I guess that's just kind of a subjective thing. That's just what I would have liked to see out of the coloring or whatever. But like I said, a lot of fun. There's some cool action here. Like I said, the plot's moving along. We get introduced to a villain who seems pretty interesting. She seems to have her own motivations and her whole reasonings for doing things. It's actually pretty funny too here, because in this particular story, it's Supergirl that throws the first punch, and it's the villain who's saying, "Hey, I didn't come here to fight," But we know that's probably going to change in the very near future. So yeah, I'm still with it, So Supergirl, pretty fun too. All right, next, Birds of Prey number 5. Writer is Dwayne Swarzinski. Layouts by Jesus Diaz, and it says finishes by Javier Pina. I hope I said his name right. Lot of fun. I really enjoy this comic book. It's pretty interesting because out of the 52 comics, the DC 52 comics, this title really hasn't gotten the same sort of buzz I think a lot of the other comics have gotten. There's a lot of hype around the Superman and Batman comics, and Animal Man and Swamp Thing. They're getting a lot of critical praise, but I don't think this comic is getting the same amount of attention. But that's okay. That's fine. It's a little bit under the radar, but I'm digging the heck out of it. Once again, just a solid action suspense type story. Once again, we're in issue 5, so we're getting a little bit closer to the, reveal of, who the bad guys really are and what their agenda is. Batgirl has more or less joined the Birds of Prey at this point, and it's just fun. My biggest quibble with this particular issue, maybe we could have gotten a little bit closer to the big reveal, but that's okay. And that's it. And we do get some more. It looks like there's some other things. I should say, what I want to say, maybe a mystery as opposed to why Poison Ivy is really on the team. So that's interesting. My next, quibble. Actually, well, I'll just say here, the cover is by David Finch, and part of it looks really cool, but part of it looks really weird. I just think, I don't know. His drawing of Katana, she's kind of in the background there. It's just really weird looking to me. It's just really, I don't know. It just seems off for some reason. And yeah, I know it's it's comic book art. It's supposed to be exaggerated and stuff, but it just seems off or whatever. Other than that, I think it's fine or whatever. But I just think that. All right. Anyway, that's it. Let's see here. I'm gonna try to have some other videos up like in the next few days. But that's it for the time being. So please comment. Tell me if you read any of these comics, if you like them, if you agree with me, if you disagree. That's it. And you guys try to have a great day.